Hi, everybody. So, I just got done watching the season 7 premiere of American Horror Story Cult, and I'm just going to give my overall thoughts on the episode. I have yet to watch anybody else's reviews or thoughts. I just didn't want my opinion to be kind of affected by the opinions of others. I straight just came out of watching it, and I just thought, immediately afterwards, I give my own thoughts and see how well it meshes with and see how well my opinions mesh with everybody else's. But I did look up one thing though. Like the IMDb rating on the episode was not good at all. Um it was like I think last time I checked like a 5.5. Um and I think it more has to do with the fact that Ryan Murphy made a lot of controversial decisions for this season. The whole politics thing, and some dispute over the characters and the actors and actresses that were cast this season, like Lena Dunham and for some reason Colton Haynes. And yeah, I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just going to judge the episode as it was and how it made me feel. But I do understand how some people might be a little annoyed, or like in this case, really annoyed because I know a lot of people that trash the I know a lot of people that are trashing this entire season just because it's piggybacking off the election that happened, and they're just sick of hearing all the politics bullshit and stuff like that. And I don't really care. It doesn't really bug me that much. When I watched it, it didn't really appear like they were biased toward any side. I know the character. I think they were actually kind of making fun of both ends of the political spectrum just a tiny bit, and people just are so enamored and take politics so seriously nowadays that they just can't see past a little satirical humor that Ryan Murphy throws when it comes to both sides of the political spectrum, and they just cannot see that it's just merely a joke. But anyways, that's how it came off to me. It didn't affect me in the slightest. It didn't affect my opinion of the show. Not even the questionable casting choices that he makes. I don't really care, even though I kind of somewhat agree with what when it comes to Lena Dunham. But um, yeah, so I couldn't really care less about the whole politics getting involved. It's just find it ridiculous that people are taking it so seriously. Like, what is like even so, even if it is biased towards one side, what is it gonna do? Is it gonna convince your friends to switch sides, or I don't know. But when I watched it, I didn't feel like it was you know biased at all. If you're offended, if you're offended because it kind of pokes fun at your political ideals, then whatever. Just turn off the TV. Um, and grow thicker skin. Anyways, that's just my opinion on the whole matter. It's just it didn't really bother me um, at all. So even though I did not really support Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, I think both candidates were probably horrible in my opinion. Just putting that out there. And that is the last we're going to delve into when it comes to politics. So yeah, both candidates for the 2016 election sucked, and frankly, I really wish we could have gone a different route. So anyway, yeah, politics done. Let's get into the actual show. So I first heard about the theme for this season, I was like, okay, isn't it kind of similar to Coven in respects to a cult? Because I know they're both kind of groups of people that have malicious intent attached to them, that have sort of like a malicious stigma attached to them. But when I was thought, okay, how are they going to do this differently from Coven? Because I know they're not necessarily focusing on magic and witches this time, but still the idea is still kind of similar to that of Coven. And I thought maybe it'd tie into Coven somehow, but I heard that they're dragging in all these cast members from Freak Show back to season 7. I don't know if that's kind of true now, but that's what I heard. And I thought, oh my gosh, how are they going to work this in? Like, how is this going to tie into the election, and how is this going to tie into all these phobias and clowns, and it was just really confusing. Like the cult, like Ryan Murphy said that once he revealed the theme for the season, that it would all make sense, and it doesn't really make any sense. All these things kind of seem unrelated to each other, but um, yeah. So I was curious to say the least. I wasn't really. I was kind of meh about the whole theme. It kind of didn't really intrigue me the way like Asylum did, or the way Coven did, or the way even Freak Show did. Um, yeah, I was just kind of curious to see what they would do with the whole cult theme and how they would tie all these seemingly unrelated things together with the cult. So yeah, I was definitely interested and curious, and I was definitely gonna watch the first episode and keep watching until I get my answers. But yeah. So anyways, when the trailer was released, I didn't really think much of it. I thought, okay, it's not the worst trailer for the show that I've seen, so I think this premiere has some promise. And then let's get into the actual premiere itself here. You know, it wasn't a terrible premiere in my opinion. I actually thought it was quite enjoyable. I thought it was kind of slow at the beginning, or like the first half of the premiere was kind of slow in my opinion. Like it just showed Sarah Paulson freaking out at everything in the corner of her eye. you know, and then I think later on it started to get all interesting, and I started to get into the characters a little bit more. And the clowns were creepy. They were. I don't have that phobia myself, but you know, the clowns were. They did go all out. Like she went into the supermarket and she saw clowns everywhere. There were clowns having sex, clowns chasing her with a knife. It was all, and I thought, you know, this has to be a flat out delusion on her part. This cannot be real. Because, you know, the store guy clerk was in there and he didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Like, how could you not see anything out of the ordinary if you're in that store with her and all that chaos was happening? So I thought flat out that it was just a delusion of hers, and I thought, why is this necessary? Like, why do you have to drag it out for so long? And then maybe as we get later on into the episode, I think, oh, maybe this is not a delusion because you actually see, you know, the clowns are real by the end of this episode. I should tell you that now. The clowns are real. So I thought, okay, maybe the shop clerk is into the whole thing. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, they do set up quite a few mysteries this episode. Like, you can tell that the cult doesn't exist yet. Like, I think Evan Peters is going to be it's obvious that Evan Peters is going to be the ringleader of the cult that's coming up soon. But you can tell that he has not formed his little cult yet. So, the cult doesn't exist. So, I was just confused. Like, where did all these clowns come from? Like, what is the purpose of having all these clowns there? Like, are they... Because I know they're not really affiliated with the cult. I don't know, maybe Evan Peters hired them? I don't know. But, they must have some pretty significant ties to him because, I think it's clear that Evan Peters is targeting Sarah Paulson's character, though I'm not sure how yet. I'm not sure how he knows about her fears and stuff like that yet. But yeah, it's just kind of confusing, and I'm interested to see how that ties in later. And yeah, the mystery, I'm intrigued already. I'm intrigued by the mystery already because the cult doesn't exist yet, and the clowns are everywhere, just messing with Allie. And maybe part of it was, maybe it was half and half. Maybe half of the clowns being, like in the beginning of the episode, maybe half were delusional, and the other half were real. I don't know. So yeah. Anyways, let's get into the characters. You know, I really wasn't digging Sarah Paulson's character because there was literally nothing else to her except for the fact that she has all these phobias and she's scared all the time. I didn't really see anything else into because almost every single scene she's just literally freaking out about something. Like she's seeing something, Like, there's just really nothing else to her character yet, and I just haven't really grown attached to Sarah Paulson. She didn't really intrigue me. Like, she has all these phobias, and she's married and has a kid. Okay, but there was nothing else really to her character other than the fact that she's afraid of clowns and tiny tiny holes everywhere. Even though I don't know if that's a real phobia or not. I think it is, even though I don't know. I'm not sure. So yeah, there was really nothing else to Sarah Paulson's character, but there were a few characters that did captivate my interest though. Evan Peters, he did a fantastic job. I think there's more underneath the surface with him, and I'm interested in exploring his character more. I thought he did a very good job in this episode. He was very menacing. You can tell that he had some sort of agenda that he was planning to get forth, because he was like proposing something to this to the lawmakers in his little town. He was proposing something that the lawmakers do something in the town. He was like, and he gave this really grandiose speech about fear and how we all need to be afraid more so that they could pass more authoritarian laws or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe that was okay. Maybe that was a little rip on Trump supporters right there. But who cares? I don't care. So yeah, Evan Peters did a really good job in captivating my interest this episode, and I'm interested to see where he goes next. He was really good. I really did like Evan Peters' character. Um, and another character that I really liked was Winter. I don't know. They kind of made it seem like he was related to Evan Peters at the beginning of the show. I don't even know if that was her. At the beginning, I think he was talking to this blonde girl at the beginning of Cult. I mean, at the beginning of the premiere, before the title credits happened, he was talking to this girl. I thought it was his sister, where he did that little pinky thing with her while she was watching the election results. I thought, okay, they did a little rip with the liberals, like she said, like when she was watching the like when she was watching the election results, she was like, ugh. They at least could have given us a trigger warning before they gave us the results. Like, you can tell that was a clear rip on the progressive left, like in the negative stereotypes associated with them. That was a clear rip on them. So yeah, and I think overall the over exaggerations that they put forth about the state of the world and the dramatization of it all, I think that was overall a rip on the progressive movement and the negative stereotypes associated with them. So yeah, I thought that was funny. I thought her character was really intriguing as well. I thought she was a very good actress, and I liked her mannerisms, and I liked the mystery that was associated with her. Um, I think maybe she's the first recruitment of Evan Peters' cult. I'm not really sure. I'm just going off of the first episode. I haven't read up on any future episodes, or I haven't read up on anything that Ryan Murphy has said. I haven't researched any other people's theories. I'm just going off of what I've seen from the very first episode. I've tried this year. I've tried to keep myself in the dark about this entire season. I did watch a couple of the teasers and I did watch the trailer, but except for that, I have tried to keep myself very much in the dark about this season, because I thought it was so fun last year that they kept us in the dark and we didn't know anything. So, yeah, I think she's probably Evan Peters' first recruit. So, yeah, he sends her. I think he sends her to babysit Allie's and her wife. I forgot what her wife's name is. I forgot what her wife's name is. It's Alison Pill. It's Alison Pill's character, but she goes and becomes a nanny to their child, and this nanny is doing really fucked up stuff to their kid. Like, she's not like physically torturing him or tormenting him or anything like that, but she is basically, I think she's basically in the process of brainwashing the kid and getting him used to the idea of being afraid and killing and stuff like that, because she shows him a video weirdly of somebody getting stabbed, and then when the murders take place at the very end of the episode, she actually shows him firsthand the killings that are happening, and right away that tells me that they're definitely that Winter, the nanny, is definitely in with the cult and involved with the Clouds, and that's what tells me that maybe that they're associated with Evan Peters somehow, even though the cult isn't really a thing yet. So yeah, that just makes the mystery even deeper for me, and I do find it very, very interesting, and I really wish we could explore that more. So yeah, let's talk about a few other characters that I've seen. I saw. Let me see. Cyan Jackson made a short appearance in this episode. He's Allie's therapist, and he didn't really do much except prescribe her medication and tell her to and suggest that she stop using social media, which I think is really good advice. So yeah, Cheyenne Jackson. I don't know if he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a regular on the show. I think I saw his name in the credits. I'm not sure. I don't remember. So yeah, let's see what they do with him later on. I can already tell that there's like an air of paranoia around the show. Like maybe Cheyenne Jackson is involved with Evan Peters' character, and the detective at the end that tells them that the murder was a murder suicide. That right there tells you very, very clearly that the detective, I think Colton Haynes' character, I don't know if that was Colton Haynes or not, the detective with the white hair, he tells them that the murders that happened at the very end of the episode was a murder suicide when it was plainly, obviously not a murder suicide. So that tells me right away that maybe the detective is one of the clowns, or maybe he's affiliated with them somehow, so he's not to be trusted. The detective is not to be trusted. But yeah, you can already tell that there is going to be a strong air of paranoia in this episode. Like, maybe none of them are good people, and like, I even get the sense that not even the wife, like Sarah Paulson's wife, can be trusted that much either, because she like tells Sarah Paulson to take her medicine, to take the medication that the therapist prescribed to her, and you don't necessarily know if you can trust the therapist either. But the therapist, that's just my theory, okay? I mean, the therapist really gives you no indication that you cannot trust him, but that's just how I see it. Like Ryan Murphy said, that there is an air of paranoia to this season, and I think anything's fair game. So I'm just going out questioning so much here. Like every character is suspect to question here, except for Allie, because she's obviously the target of this entire thing. The anyways, yes, that might be somewhat ridiculous, but that's just how I see the show. So yeah, I know that this season in general is getting trashed pretty majorly, even more than other seasons are. Like the season is taking the brunt of the hate, and I overall haven't really paid attention to it. I'm just giving my general thoughts on the premiere as a whole, and to sum up my thoughts, I thought it was good. I thought it was not as good as last year's premiere in my opinion, but I thought this premiere did satisfy me quite a bit, and the clowns were generally creeping me out. And that's what I come to the show for, to get creeped out, because it's American Horror Story. And yeah, nothing really offended me, nothing really bothered me. I think that they're just poking fun at both sides of the political spectrum, because I think, quite frankly, that it's nothing to take so seriously. It's just a TV show. It's nothing to take seriously. Like, if you watch the show, it's not going to change anybody's opinion. It's not going to, like, do any harm. You might think it's pushing a narrative agenda, but I just don't really see any harm in it. I just don't. So, for what the premiere was, I enjoyed it. I thought it kind of started off small. I thought it kind of started off slow at the beginning, because all we saw was Sarah Paulson freaking out at the boogeyman popping in every corner of her eye. And that was kind of annoying at first. And then I started to get into the story and into the characters. Like Evan Peters and the nanny really did intrigue me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing future episodes. Okay. that was it. See ya later. Bye.